Hello. Let me begin by thanking each and every one of you for a great year last year. We had wonderful success in the classroom and even outside the classroom when we look at our extracurricular activities, our student success in competitive events, athletics. All of that happened because of you. Now let me bring you up to date to where we are. As we begin to enter this new school year, I also want to thank those of you that spoke up at our county council meetings in support of our budget. The county council has worked with us extremely closely to ensure that we are financed at a level that will continue to provide the success that we've seen over the course of the last few years. Unanimous votes on each reading of our budget. So I want to thank the county council, the finance committee for the county council, for their understanding and their recognition of the progress we've made, that you have made in our classrooms, that has brought us together to ensure the continued success within the Beaufort County School District, within our schools, and most importantly, for the 22,000 students plus that we serve each and every day. We just finished extended school year. Another wonderful time. I can't express my gratitude to the teachers that come in and give up their entire month of June to ensure that our elementary students are receiving that valuable instruction in reading so that they can begin the school year without that summer slide, so that they can begin the school year to ensure that they're picking right up where they left off and ensuring that they're ready to start school in August. Now, along with our opening of school year, we have to work in the constraints of what the General Assembly provides or doesn't provide. In this case, it is no different than previous years. We were hurt the worst. But I will say that through the partnerships with our county finance department, with Tanya Crosby, our local finance folks, we were able to guarantee and ensure that our locality supplement remains intact. It is not going away. We have the promise that it will continue as scheduled for the next 2 years. So we are on track after the 5 years to have that $5,000 in there for all of our certified teaching staff. This coming year will be $3,000. I know it's not a lot, but as we continue to progress down this path, we should be well above $40,000 for beginning teacher pay very soon. The other components of our budget, we kept our supplies and materials in at the local level. We will have to do a few reductions. A couple of those fall into the area of positions here at the district office. 2 of the positions are now moved out at the schools in the way of high school the high school principal at Beaufort High School and the principal at Robert Smalls International Academy. That was to make up for the last minute General Assembly decision that reduced our revenue by another $575,000. Those positions, along with some other reductions that I promise you are not going to affect what you do in the classroom, will make those up at the district office to get our budget balanced. When we look at what that really means, I think it means that we recognize at the district level that all of the things we do that are important are occurring in the schools or at the school level. And we want to ensure our support for you and make your life a lot easier as we go through these next few years, which will include all of the student growth that I know and you know we're going to experience. With the student growth comes teacher recruitment issues, teacher retention issues, and supply and demand. So my last point to you is, if you know individuals that are looking for a great place to live, work, and play, recruit for us. Help us recruit your cohorts, your colleagues into Beaufort County to ensure that we continue this momentum of success that we've started, and help us to continue to move Beaufort County to the best school district, not only in the state of South Carolina, but in the nation. Ms. Crosby is going to talk more about some of the financial issues that have come up recently, And I know, and I'm very confident that after she finishes, you will have the same confidence level that I have in her, that I had in Phyllis White while she was here, that I have in our entire finance department, because I do believe, and I say this publicly and privately, they are by far the best finance department I've worked with in 34 years. They do everything by the book, by the letter of the law, but more importantly, they try to find ways to get supplies, materials, and things into the classroom, because they also realize, even though they're accountants, that what you do in the classroom is one of the most important tasks that we do as a nation.
Mm-hmm. Hi, again, I'm Tanya Crosby, the Chief Finance and Operations Officer for the school district. I just want to talk a little bit about today P-cards, the district's credit cards. There's been some attention around the cards, and I want to just give some clarification, give some additional education and information about the cards and their use and the controls we have over them to help give you confidence, as we do, in the use of those cards, and how we make the most efficient use of them in order to supply goods and services to our students. So first of all, I just want to talk about the benefits. The benefits of the card are that we're really moving into a digital age. So purchases now are made most commonly with credit cards versus checks. And in fact, many vendors don't even take checks any longer. Hotels, for example, registrations for conferences, meetings, and other vendors do not accept that form of payment. They only accept it in the form of an electronic payment. Also, we have vendors are paid faster. They like being paid quicker, and we're able, as we pay our credit card bill a few weeks beyond the end of that month, we're able to hold on to our funds and keep those on hand a little longer, so it's to our benefit as well. The times of entering purchase orders and cutting those checks is really becoming very expensive and very cost prohibitive. So that's one of the reasons, some of the reasons why we are moving into that digital age. Also, rebates are a big factor in that. Many credit cards have rewards points, personal credit cards and that sort of thing, but our cards have cash back rebates. So we received approximately $300,000 in rebates this past year. And over the past 6 years, we've received $1.1 million of rebates, which we put right back into the operations of the school district, and we're able to offset any tax increases that may be needed. So we want to make sure that we are increasing that spending by using the purchases on purchases such as furniture, tablets, and iPads for our Connect to Learn program, the one-to-one initiative that puts devices in the hands of every student in our school district. Also, we use it on utilities, our energy bills and telephone bills are some of the largest and most commonly used purchases on those bills. So we do strategize to make sure that we're using it on some of the larger vendors where we know that we have RFPs and bids out, and we have maximized our pricing through the bidding process. So those are some of the uses of the card. In addition to the uses, we want to make sure we have a lot of controls over the card. We know it's a lot of spending, and so therefore we established a set of policies and procedures several years ago when we began the use of the card. And those policies have changed slightly over the years, but we do have very tight restrictions on them. We train our bookkeepers very frequently on the use of the cards. A card is distributed to each bookkeeper in each school with the oversight of their principal, as well as in the district office. There's a bookkeeper in each department in the district office who is responsible for the use and the monitoring and the allocation of the spending to the appropriate account numbers. So we do monitor it at that level. And it also, at the end of the month, that data comes to the finance department, where we have a purchasing specialist who monitors every single transaction in the district for a series of checks and balances that we have here in our office. So there are multiple levels of control over the card, and that's evidenced by the processes that we have in place, and that are in place for our other purchases that are made by check as well. They're very similar processes, where we also marry the policies to our procurement code so that we're making sure that we're getting the quotes needed or advertising appropriately to get the best pricing from our vendors. So I want to close by just saying that I have a huge level of confidence in our staff and the training that we do and the processes that we have in place. And that's really noted by many things. We have 26 years of GFOA awards of excellence in financial reporting. We have 10 years of excellence in awards and excellence in budgeting. And we've had clean and or unqualified audit opinions for the last 19 years. So we have a very qualified staff of people who are constantly in training mode, and they're very committed to making sure that we're following and complying with those policies and really maximizing the dollars we have for the benefit of our students.
And I just want to add, and Ms. Crosby can join in. When you use the P card is 100% transparent, 100% documented, and cannot be hidden. So in the age of accountability, it's impossible, I believe, maybe not impossible is not the right word. It's very difficult to hide a purchase on a school district credit card, where if it was just a purchase order and checks were written and going between a couple people and the two people got together, it's a lot easier. But a credit card purchase shows up on a report, as Ms. Crosby mentioned, that the bookkeeper looks at, an individual in finance looks at,
external
auditors look at. So it goes through a multitude of check and balance system that will verify where we are. Now, that's not to say that it's any different than what you or I would have with a credit card, meaning that at times there may be a fraudulent charge.
Yes.
Those fraudulent charges are called in, and we investigate.
Yes.
They come in as an alert to begin with, just like if you have a credit card company that alerts you. The alert is then investigated and decided if it's appropriate or inappropriate.
Yes.
If it's appropriate, we inform the company and it goes through. If it's not appropriate and not made by a representative of the Beaufort County School District, then it's flagged and we're reimbursed.
Yes.
And on average, those average 3 to 5 maybe per month. Is that about right? The fraudulent charges.
We had 47 fraudulent charges this year.
Okay. So if you divided that out for the 12 months, that would be somewhere between 3 and 5.
Yes.
Which is, believe it or not, a small number considering how many charges?
Oh, $25 million of charges, a large number.
But on every charge, we were reimbursed within a few days of identifying it as a fraudulent charge. That is where those internal controls come in. That is the confidence level that I have with Ms. Crosby and her staff, that if something occurs, it's going to be identified. There's also something called a transparency report that we publish every month.
Yes.
We are adding some things to that transparency report to help make it more understandable for our public. One is a legend.
We're identifying the funding sources. At the bottom, the last page of the report, we identify the first digit of the account number and the appropriate funding source that goes with that number.
And the other is where we will identify where those fraudulent charges were within each one of those statements. All of this in an attempt to show you the inside look, the behind the curtain look at all of the checks and balances that go on within finance, which are continuous. These happen on a continual daily basis to ensure that the revenue we receive is going where we said it was going to go and for the purpose we said it was going to go for. Neither Ms. Crosby nor myself can spend anything that's not approved by our local board. And all of us working together, you in the classroom providing the excellent education you're providing, our parents providing the wonderful support they provide to the schools, our leaders in our communities providing the mentors, the tutorial services, all of the collaboration that occurs in this wealth of knowledge, the wealth of knowledge that we have within our district. That is why we continue to set new records each and every year academically, from a graduation rate perspective, and from the number of scholarships our students receive each and every year. So thank you so very much for what you do, not only for the students of Beaufort County, the parents of Beaufort County, but for our nation in preparing tomorrow's leaders. I can't wait till August. See you at the summer training in August, and I hope you have some time this summer to relax with family and friends, reflect back on last year, and give a little bit of consideration to next year. And I can't wait to see you in your classrooms. Have a wonderful year.